Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may find yourself, and welcome back to our personal development class based on the book The Leader Who Had No Title by one of my favorite authors, Robin Sharma. My name is Dr. Rosemond Osei-Kranti, and I'm happy to share this time with you. We begin our passage today from page 28. And with all the cataclysmic changes in our society right now, leadership has become the single most important master skill for success in business. And I forgot to clearly mention the other day that leadership isn't only something to do at work. We need to practice leadership within every arena we play. To arrive at our greatest lives, it's ever so important to model leadership in health, demonstrate leadership with our loved ones, reflect leadership around our finances, and live leadership within our communities. And most essentially, the foundation of it all is self. And this passage is emphasizing the fact that leadership is not limited to work. For a lot of us, when we hear leaders or leadership, we are thinking about political figures, we are thinking about church leadership, we are thinking about CEOs, pastors, elders, and all those co-meanings. But this passage is making us aware that leadership is basically a way of life, how you live your life, not about the title that you hold. And you demonstrate leadership by the kind of influence you wield around you, in your family, in your relationship, in your way of life, the way you live your life, the way you manage your finances, how you are managing your health, how you act with integrity. Anything that spells responsibility about your own life is spelling leadership. And at this point, we are clear on the fact that leadership is not a title you hold or a role you play, but it is actually the way you live your life. And when we come to the various aspects where we can demonstrate leadership, for example, health is one of your most important assets. I always talk about it, right? And so in demonstrating leadership in the area of your health, that is you taking responsibility for what you eat, the habits that you are forming that will promote your well-being. It includes discipline about the time you are eating the food you eat, the kind of food you are eating, the proportions of food you are eating. Discipline in the area of your health. The kind of choices you make. Because if you are so conscious about your health, you think about any poisonous or potentially toxic substance you take into your system. You think twice when you are jumping into bed with a man or woman who you are not in a committed relationship with, especially when you are having unprotected or casual sex. And you will do anything in your power to avoid destructive behavior. You know that if I go out with Kwesi and this gang, I'll come back drunk. I'll come back having tasted some kind of illicit drug. And so I'll make that choice not to go on this outing. That is leadership in the area of your health. The Bible tells us that our body is a temple of God. And so in demonstrating leadership and in honoring God, you will not make choices that would harm this body. Leadership in your relationships, amongst your family, your friends, you are showing love, you are showing responsibility, you are showing up when you are needed, you are resolving conflict wisely, not taking sides, not being prejudiced, by being wise and looking beyond what is being said. So recently I had an issue with somebody, and then an elderly person recommended another elderly person for us to go and see. My brother, my sister, the way this man made a mess of the situation, and he turned a good situation, a bad situation worse, forgive me. Bad situation, he converted it into a worse situation. How are you leading? in terms of relationships. If you are leading very well in terms of your relationships, you realize that you tend to serve and to nurture rather than lord authority over people. And Joseph showed a lot of leadership in his relationships. Look at all that his brothers did to him when the day of reckoning came, when it was very evident that they betrayed him and he was in that power to wield revenge. He decided that he would choose maturity and rather restore family unity. That is leadership. You need to lead in your finances. You have to be very wise about the way you spend your money. Anytime God gives you money in whatever form, it is still worship. How do you plan? How do you avoid waste? How do you give to people who are in need? Generosity. Money is not just a resource, but it is a test of your responsibility. That is why when God gives you $10,000 and you're able to use it wisely, He can trust that the next time you give you 100 and a million and 10 million and a billion. That is how it is. Luke 16:10 says that whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whenever you are financially disciplined, it reflects inner leadership. You need to lead in your community where you live. Are you helping others? Are you acting with justice? Are you serving your community? Look at Nehemiah. When he heard that the walls of Jerusalem had broken down, he was very worried and he wanted to build it. He wanted to restore social order. That is leadership in your community. Leadership ultimately is not a position, it is a character. It is an attribute of who you are. And you learn leadership through influence, leading by example. You know, we as human beings, we are naturally drawn towards people who are disciplined, people who have integrity, people who have wisdom, people who would say what they mean and actually follow through, people who are compassionate and people who are responsible. You give them a job, you give something to them to do, and you can be sure, you can count on it, that what you have committed to them, that is leadership. Page 29. One of the main aims of the journey you are on, Blake, is to improve. It's fine to be content, but never be satisfied. So improve everything. Improve it all. Daily, relentlessly, and passionately. I like this part. Improve everything about your life. Daily, relentlessly, and passionately. It's fine to be content, but never be satisfied. At a glance, you may think that this sentence is not politically or grammatically correct. But it means that we should be grateful for wherever we are now, whatever we are. But we should still remain committed to becoming better. Look at iPhone. Every now and then they bring a new version. If even iPhone is constantly upgrading, how about you and I? You and I, the human beings who made the iPhone. Contentment and complacency are not the same thing. Contentment means that you are grateful for wherever you are in your life right now, whatever you have in it. Complacency is you being comfortable and refusing to go any further. That is the bone of contention. We are encouraging balance here, where you are content but you are not complacent. So you continue to strive for personal excellence, to continue to grow. And this kind of mindset, where you are content but yet you are still striving for more, it prevents you from becoming arrogant and stagnant. Because if I'm happy with my life right now, and indeed I'm very happy with my life right now, but I have dreams and visions and aspirations that are so much more than where I am today, and that keeps me humble, knowing that I'm only just like 10% into my life journey and my achievements. And so that keeps me humble. That does not give me that air of arrogance that I have arrived, because between me and my God, I know that I have not arrived. Paul exemplifies this. He says in Philippians 4, he tells us that he has learned that in all things he should be content. And yet the same Paul told us in Philippians 3, 13 and 14 that we should forget what is behind and strain forward. Press on towards the goal. And so you are happy with what you have, but you are still pressing on. You need to improve everything, including what you eat, the way you eat, the time you eat. All areas of your life, you need to improve in knowledge. How do you gain knowledge? By watching podcasts like this, by reading, by going to the Word of God, by asking God to give you clarification on certain things in your life. Knowledge. Every problem we have in this life is because there is a knowledge deficit. The more knowledge you have, the more problems you can solve in this life. You need to improve in your character, in the way you relate to people, the way you laugh, the way you share, the way you talk. Refine your speech. In your habits, there are always certain habits that you need to drop. Me, I like bread. I've been fighting how to stop eating bread. I've not been able to stop completely, but at least I have reduced how much bread I'm eating and how often I'm eating it. You need to improve in your relationship. No matter how good your relationship, there is always something you can do better. Your wife, your husband is happy with you, but can you inch the fire up a little higher? Maybe all you do is doggy. In this month, you tell yourself that I'm going to learn how to do cowgirl, reverse cowgirl, all kinds of styles that have come, snake in the monkey shadow, they call me minis. Can you inch it a little higher? Discipline. How disciplined you are in the area of your health. Are you able to follow through? Oh, I want to go to the gym. I want to have a more toned body. I want to lose weight. Are you able to improve in the discipline you put in these areas of your life? In your spiritual life, how many times are you fasting? How much time are you committing to reading God's word? How much time are you committing to the place of prayer? Leadership is not about a one-time achievement or people naming you in a role, then we clap for you and we go home. No. Leadership is every day, small, continuous improvement. And every day of our lives offers us an opportunity to be a better version of us than we were the day before. And we need to do this relentlessly and passionately. That's the part I like most about this passage. Your intensity and commitment. It should not be passive and it should not be occasional. It should be pursued relentlessly. Guys, I'm not a man, but have you seen a man chasing a woman before? The man will bow, penny, will style or they chase your banner. Relentlessly, they will not give up. They will go, the girl will give them cheek, she will not answer their call, she will tell her friends to tell him that she is not there. But this man will persist. Some of you have stood in the rain to chase a woman before. Passionately, with enthusiasm and dedication. That is how we are supposed to chase self-improvement and self-leadership. Greatness is built through persistent effort and purpose-driven living. Improvement is a very important leadership principle. It is very essential for leadership because if you are a leader and you stop growing, the world is constant, everything is changing every day. And so as a leader, you need to change with the time. You need to keep improving yourself daily, relentlessly, passionately. When you stop growing as a leader, eventually you lose relevance. People will come to you and you will not be able to have solutions for their current problems. And gradually people will stop. The moment you see that people have stopped coming to you to ask for solutions, then you should know that you are losing relevance. You become ineffective, your decisions are flawed, they don't bring the effort, the output you are expecting they will bring. You stop failing to inspire people, and that is how you know that you are failing at leadership, because there's no continuous improvement in your skill, character, and knowledge base. You need to grow relentlessly as a leader by developing and seeking out new ideas, adapting to change. There are new ways of doing things, so you are learning them, and you keep inspiring people to go every day on a daily and consistent basis. Growth would always influence us. Growth creates influence, and so if you want to wield more influence in the arenas that you are playing at, you need to make continuous growth a priority. People will naturally flow to leaders or people who are allowing learning and who are evolving. And that is how we end our episode for today. Then join me for next week's episode, where we are going to learn something really life-changing. God bless you.